Something tells me when Harvey gets a hold of this, he's probably going to talk about it because he stays going in on Bill Maher. Now, I don't think in the history of my channels, I have to say channels, I have to make it plural because it's more than one, that I've ever done a video on Bill Maher. I don't think I remember ever doing one on him. Because usually Harvey takes that and he runs with it. And I just let him go ahead and do his thing. However, today, on this evening of March 18, 2023, I have to speak about this. So the conversation on reparations is very, very still ongoing, especially with what recently happened in San Francisco. By now, y'all have already seen my take about what the NAACP is, well, more so what Reverend Amos Brown did when it came to that. Them blocking it, like, man, like they thought they wasn't gonna push back against that. They were sadly mistaken. But there's other people throwing their hat in the ring to talk down on it, and one of those people is none other than Bill Maher. And that's one thing. They love to put a camera and a mic on someone who has nothing to do with whatever it is that we got going on, and for reasons unknown, as if they're supposed to be the sacred mouthpiece for all black people, particularly foundational black Americans. But Bill Maher, up to no surprise of anyone, basically shot down in saying that the reparations plan for the San Francisco was just crazy, and he called it madness in so many words. So I'm going to read this article to see what else he had to say. Not that is of any importance, but you got to know thy enemy, right? Real-time host Bill Maher took a blowtorch towards San Francisco's quote-unquote crazy reparations plan that would give black residents millions of dollars. During the panel discussion on Friday night with former presidential candidate Andrew Yang and Representative Elisa Slotkin of Michigan, Maher asked if the reparation proposal is going quote-unquote too far, saying it's quite a lot to give each black resident $5 million. Again, $5 million to each resident. And I kind of broke this down in the video that I did, well, in the stream that I did about what Reverend Amos Brown did, and then I broke it up and clipped it as its own separate video so people could see it just in case they didn't catch the stream. That's a drop in the bucket compared to what this establishment sends to other nations. Trust me, it's a small drop in the bucket. And it's a one-time thing. They make it seem like it's something that's going to continue over time. It's a one-time payment to each black resident, well, who qualifies for it in San Francisco. And to my knowledge, if my stats are correct, it's only about 5% of black people who will qualify in the city of San Francisco, because the population there is so low. And you can also probably throw in the black people who don't live in San Francisco anymore, who were born there and raised there, who qualify as well, which I'm sure is not that much higher. But they have a huge problem with black people getting $5 million per person who qualifies. They have a problem with that because they don't want black people to have nothing. What they'll do is to say, oh, they need to work hard, they need to do this, and they need to do that. Do you know what? That speech falls on deaf ears every single time, because they do not tell any other group that except us. Whether it's coming from PC people like Bill Maher, or from black people like Reverend Amos Brown, or anyone else who is non-FBA. Like, literally, this is what you're seeing right now happening. Is if you didn't believe in that quote of "we don't have any friends" before, this talk and conversation, just the talk and conversations of reparations, is definitely putting that quote to the test right now. That says we do not have any friends. It's even some people who qualify for reparations who are against it. And that's mind-boggling at its core to me. I can see it if you want to qualify and you got something to say, but if you qualify and you still speaking against it, like, you literally are turning down money that is owed to you. And for what? A pat on the head? A little nigger trinket? That's why I say mental enslavement will always surpass and be worse than physical. During the panel discussion on Friday night with I already read that part. Even I didn't go this far, Yang quipped, alluding to his universal basic income policy he ran on 2020, which is exactly why Andrew Yang is in the position he's in right now, which is panel hopping. This man literally is a panel gypsy. Like every time you look up, he's on somebody's panel on some different network talking a bunch of nonsense because he has nothing else to do. His political career is flushed down the toilet and out to sea somewhere. It goes on to say, I mean, it seems like, when people ask, why are you talking against the woke craziness? There goes that word again. Remember, Bethany Mandel got checked on that word. I'm telling y'all, use that to y'all advantage. Now that Bethany Mandel got checked on that, whenever they bring up the word woke, ask them to define it. And just in case they know the actual definition of it, ask them this question. Have you defined that version that you just gave of woke up until today, or you just said it because you knew what it was? And that's how you cut them from the other side, just in case they try to undercut and try to duck and dodge. But it says, let me read it again. It says, I mean, it seems like, when people ask, why are you talking against the woke craziness? Because it's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Maher said. And by the way, San Francisco doesn't have a history of slavery or anything like that. It would cost every citizen left $600,000 each. This is madness, is it not? Let's pivot to New York right quick. I talked in my live stream about how they are bringing in all these immigrants, mainly those from the border, south of the Bordarians, where they are allowed, they're sending them to college for free, tuition, room and board, everything. And it's going to cost the residents there, the taxpayers, $1.2 million. Has Bill Maher said anything about that? About how these immigrants are costing taxpayers, that would include him, millions of dollars. But he gets upset from this. Does Bill Maher even live in San Francisco? If not, then he's not even affected by this the way he claims. And I bet you there's a lot of holes in whatever it is that he's saying, because you can only take what he says with a grain of salt. And as far as the thing of history of slavery, that's another talking point they say. They say, oh, San Francisco doesn't have a history of slavery, but it's probably a lot of people that live in San Francisco who families migrated there when they escaped from slavery, if they got free and they moved there. So technically, while San Francisco doesn't have a history of slavery, there are some residents there that probably are descendants of those who were enslaved. That's the other talking point. I'm telling you, they're pulling out everything they can to try and go against what it is that we're trying to achieve. And like I said, it's a fear. They are fearful of black people getting this money and doing something tangible with it, because they notice they haven't really used a talking point that much lately of what are they going to spend it on. I mean, you still have some out there that will, but I haven't seen that lately. They're scared to death that there are some black people out there that have some business savvy about themselves, who have some entrepreneurial skills about themselves, and they are scared of what we can actually do if we pull our money together and what we could create. And they don't want that to happen. They want black people to be in a perpetual underclass state forever, or at least as long as they are in existence. They probably could give a damn what will happen after they're gone and we're still here. But as long as they are still in existence, they want to make sure that we do not surpass certain other groups, and for damn sure don't even come close to touching them. Because if that happens, then they know they are done. If that happens, they are in a state of panic right now. It goes on to say, it says, Yang chalked up the proposal as being a quote unquote political statement, telling Maher, we have a lot of people at various stages of public office who are putting out bills and policies that are more for the messaging and stoking the fires on social media than actually trying to get something passed. The HBO star also addressed the turmoil that erupted at Stanford University, where progressive law students shouted down Trump appointed federal Judge Kyle Duncan, who was invited to speak on campus, but the disruption was supported by the law school's Dean of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, or DEI, Taurean Steinbach. In a clip shown by Maher, Steinbeck is heard asking Duncan, is it worth the pain that this causes? Is it worth the pain? Is it free speech? Worth the pain? And is it really painful? Is it really painful? If you don't like this guy, don't go to his lecture, Maher exclaimed. Slotkin responded by insisting that college campuses should be a place for free speech regardless of their politics, but knocked Duncan as being a little bit of a fragile fly. You know what? I don't know if I want to read anything more past it, because now it seems like it's going into something else completely different than what it is that I came on here to read, because I think this is it's putting two stories into one. I don't know why they did that, but I'm gonna start reading right there and just focus on this. Bill Maher is trash. He comes off as this person who claims to be down mainly because he's interviewed black people. It's just basically that thing of I'm friends with black people so I can say what I want type of deal. But this is not shocking or surprising coming from someone like him. Like I said, they are scared. They are scared of what even just $5 million could do, let alone trillions, which is what we're really owed. But like I said, the $5 million, that is a start. I would highly suggest y'all go watch Professor Black Truth, Moment of Truth, that he did on this past Friday that replaced his Friday Crime Report, where he breaks down what that $5 million could do in opposed to whatever it is Reverend Amos Brown was trying to come up with. Like, that was some BS to a high degree. But yeah, like I said, we are in for a fight. I just want y'all to know that. I want y'all to be aware we are in for a long haul of a fight with a lot of different individuals who have something opposing to say about what it is that we are trying to get. And then when we pull stats out, then they pull out these other straw man arguments. It doesn't, at this point, it's not even worth getting your blood pressure up and getting into arguments with these individuals, because that's what they love to do. They want you to be confrontational with them because they get a kick out of it. All I can do as a person who's a part of the new black media is just be the messenger. I can only bring to you what people like him say. I can offer up a solution, but at the end of the day, you as the viewer, you're going to do with it what you feel. So I can't tell you to not go on social media and cuss Bill Maher out. If you feel like cussing him out, hey, do what you do. But at the end of the day, they're still going to say what they want from their very high platform. And they have a lot of influence. You have a lot of people that agree with him. Now, you want to know what would be even more funny is if Joe Biden came out and said that he opposed it. Watch how many people who said that they don't like him end up liking him. That's how flip-floppy and flimsy this establishment is. They can't stay on one side for nothing. If they say something, just one thing they like, especially when it comes to affecting us, they would be on their enemy's side in a heartbeat. Again, let's not forget when 45 had said something about a platinum plan, how many supporters stopped supporting him. Again, they told on themselves then, but then again, they tell on themselves all the time, and you don't have to say or do much in order for them to do it. I just happened to catch at the perfect spot where Jason Black, or TBA, was doing his broadcast about reparations. I think the title of it was called "Is Reparations Doomed to Fail?" And I caught it right at the perfect moment to bring this definition up as it pertains to not only what he was talking about, but also what people like Bill Maher has been saying and other people. And what Jason was basically saying is how them folks are deeming us to be insane or somehow crazy for even demanding to want some type of reparation or tangibles for us for basically not getting anything that was promised and owed to us. And it made me instantly think of this word drapetomania. A lot of people are not familiar with this word, but this word right here pertains specifically to our ancestors who was on those plantations. So it says right here, drapetomania was a supposed mental illness that in 1851 American physician Samuel A. Cartwright hypothesized as the cause of enslaved Africans fleeing captivity. Basically, it was saying that why would enslaved black people want to leave this so-called paradise that was deemed paradise by them, but hell on earth for those who was enslaved? You had to be somehow crazy. You had to be insane. You had to be out of your mind or living out of your mind in order to want to leave captivity. And that's where the psychological and mental enslavement really kicks in, is through this word right here and through other means. What we're seeing right now with people like Bill Maher saying that this is woke craziness, or this is that and this is that, or what other people are saying is, how dare we even ask the question of why we would want reparations? This is nothing more than modern day drapetomania. I need people to get familiar with this word. For those of you who have no clue what that is, because all of that is literally all this is. And they feel like if you get called crazy or insane enough, then you'll stop doing whatever it is, no matter how much it'll benefit you. How dare you want to do for self and not have us do for you or do to you? How dare do you want to build up your own infrastructure? Are you saying that ours is no good anymore, even though we've done all of this building for you, but really not for you? Even though we tore down and destroyed your stuff so you wouldn't leave, and so on and so forth. But you'll be deemed sane if you allow yourself to still be under the thumb of this system. Now you got to ask yourself the question, who is the sane one and who is the psycho?